huddle here.
Yeah, we should.
We need to do that. What's going on, Wayne? We don't have anything here yet, but I'm sure people are trickling in
live. Now the notification would have went out at this point. So anyone?
7, 8.
Oh wait, you're seeing. Oh, there you. I didn't know where you were seeing numbers. Okay, boom. Hey, everybody.
How's everybody doing?
Oh, well, you did a nice little chat. Okay.
Oh, we've got some people here from PhotoDay.
PhotoDay folks.
Oh, we got a chat. We got a bubble here.
What did we? No, that was me.
Oh, that was. Hey, Tom, how's it going?
Hey, Justin. All right, we got like 20 people in here. That makes me feel like extra special because my name and my face was on the graphics, so people are actually coming to see me. Thank you all. This feels like a birthday party, even if it is some of our PhotoDay folks too. You guys are busy doing other stuff, so you're here.
I like the ambient lighting in the background.
Well, I'm going to thank Google Chromecast for that. It'll change from time to time.
Setting the mood.
Yeah. All right, so to all of our non-PhotoDay folks, because our PhotoDay folks know exactly like who I am and how I like to do things, I cannot stand awkward silence. I always have to have things happening, people talking, chatting, ambient noise in the background. So I see everyone is putting like where they're from in the chat, and I absolutely love that. We're going to do something a little special. I did this most recently in one of our PhotoDay meetings. Give me the temperature of where you are right now. Don't tell me where you're from. Just drop in the chat, put the temperature. All right. Fahrenheit, just in case we have any of our friends across the pond or in Canada who are here. Tell me your temperature right now. Whew. 92.
Like the body temperature or the temperature?
No, outside. I hope everyone didn't run and go get a thermometer to like, okay, let me check. All right.
Oh man, 62.
Of course, Carlos, 73. I didn't even check what mine is right now. I'm kind of scared too.
Well, it is a little overcast where we're at, Wayne.
Okay, not too bad. It's only 86.
Yeah.
Great. I feel better. We got 75, Brian, jealous. 85 with storms, Emily, down the street, I feel. Lex, it's 93. Lex, you win the prize. You win. I'm so sorry.
Oh boy. Sorry, Lex. I'm sure that on top of humidity is
not fun.
Not fun.
Not fun. Mm-mm. If you're not from Florida and you're unfamiliar with our weather patterns, we have two temperatures. We have hot and we have hotter. All right. Those are our seasons, basically. We are in the hotter season. Okay. It won't go back down to hot until like November. Right. That's when we'll feel our first cool day.
But Brian, you don't have the humidity that we have here in Florida.
Yeah. It's a different ball game.
Yeah.
Different beasts with the humidity. But 115 is still 115. So I can't say you win the prize, but it's still hot.
You probably cook outside with that temperature, right? You probably cook something on the hood of your car or something. Right?
Yeah. If you're outside, I feel bad for you in that weather. I'm so sorry. You're doing something wrong.
Wayne, you ready to get started?
Why don't we, Rainer? Go ahead. Let's kick us off.
All right. Hello, everybody. I know it's been a minute, but I am happy to be here on this webinar once again. So PhotoDay has grown in every department, and it's no different with product. So for those of you that are on this webinar that have not met me yet, my name is Rainer, and I am a co-founder and head up the product team here at PhotoDay. And so because of this growth, our product team had to just grow with the company. And so we searched far and wide, east to west, north and south, and went through a very lengthy process. And I will tell you, when you know you know.
You know,
And
that's
so,
good. That's
and
good.
so, yeah. And so Wayne and I had actually previously met a few years ago at a football game. And really, it has come full circle. And when Wayne interviewed, I have a terrible memory these days. Wayne was like, "I think we've met before," and sure enough, light bulb turned on, and I was like, "Okay, yeah, football game." And had an amazing interview with Wayne. He also got to interview with some of our leadership team as well, and it was very clear that Wayne would be the perfect fit for PhotoDay. Wayne has already added tremendous value. He is seasoned. He will introduce himself here in a minute. He is a seasoned product person, and I am just so happy, blessed to have Wayne be part of our team. And I'm excited for him to have the opportunity to speak with everybody and tell a bit of his story and showcase some of the things that we've been working on and some of the things we are currently looking at as far as future products here at PhotoDay. And a lot of it has to do with feedback from you guys. So without further ado, Wayne, the webinar is all yours, and I've got to catch a flight. And coincidentally, this flight has everything to do with our product. So enjoy the webinar. I encourage everybody to give Wayne a warm welcome. And I'm excited for our users and excited for you, Wayne, to meet and get to chat with our team. So our customers, our studios. So without further ado, Wayne, it is all yours.
Here we go. Let's do it. Thanks, Rainer. Awesome. All right. So welcome to this PhotoDay checkpoint, the opportunity to look inside of the product team, or look inside with the product team. As Rainer says, I am Wayne Thompson. Coincidentally, this slide, and I didn't catch this until just now, it says Senior Project Manager. I'm actually Senior Product Manager. There's a slight and distinct difference, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. But I am super excited to be here. Not going to lie, like I love having interaction with people. If you couldn't already tell by my intro in the beginning, just being able to interact. So I'm going to try to balance going from the chat and looking at the slides at the same time, because I like the sound of my own voice, but I don't love it. So I want to be able to see what's going on. And the truth is about product is that product is not an explanation. It's a conversation. Our goal, my goal, the product team's goal at PhotoDay is to listen to you. Find out what matters most to our customers and really weigh that against business needs and business goals and business values to be able to deliver you the features and the value for your business and ultimately your life, right? Your business is your life. So what we here at PhotoDay intend to do, we are the all-around marketplace, just in case you've never heard about PhotoDay, right? All-around marketplace that helps photographers thrive, right? The goal is for you to do your best, right? You shoot your best, and then we help you with the rest. Any person that's been an entrepreneur for any amount of time, you love to do the thing that you do. The thing that you don't like to do is all the other stuff, right? So we want to be able to help you and support you get all that other stuff done in a minimal amount of time so that you can have more time to do the thing that what you love. All right. So today what we're going to be doing is really talking about product as a whole, right? Just a quick housekeeping. This session is recorded and a replay will be emailed afterwards. Please ask questions. Like I mentioned earlier, this is a conversation, right? Like it's not just me dictating all the information to you. As a whole, we want to be able to interact and talk. If we don't have time to kind of go dig and really dive deep into the answers that we need to, we can talk about connecting offline. Our wonderful support team is going to be able to help me condense all of these things and make sure that I can get back to you with answers. I asked this one request, please be respectful. As we are here, our goal is to help you, right? Our goal is to listen to you. I know just being here for a short amount of time, I've seen some feedback like PhotoDay doesn't listen to us. They're not hearing what we're saying. PhotoDay listens, hears, and sees every single response that any one of our users writes into us. We care so much about it. What we're going to talk about today is how we balance hearing all of these things and how we formulate a plan on how to make this work in the future. All right. So our agenda for today, we're going to talk about what is product at PhotoDay. We're going to talk about what we've done in 2024. We're going to talk about what we're working on, and then ultimately, we'll have some Q&A time at the end. I'm going to try to go slow. I'm normally a very, very fast talker, and I go through things quickly. But when I want everyone to be able to retain what we're talking about, so I'm going to try to go slow. If there is something that you want me to go back about, just let me know. We'll make it happen. All right. I think that's enough introduction, right? We're good to go. Do me a favor, put your favorite emoji in the chat. Just tell me how like excited you are about hearing from the product team. I want to see if like this topic is something that we should do regularly, or if this is just something we should just do one time. But I will gauge that based off of your responses in the chat and emojis only. Okay. Let's see. Any? Yeah. Not yet. No excitement. Okay. It's probably me. All right. So Dan's excited and Hannah's excited. I appreciate them. All right. All right, let's go. Let's get into it. All right. So what product is at PhotoDay? So there might be a delay because I'm seeing a lot more responses. This is dope. Okay, that's all right. I'm going to pretend like I can account for the delay. All right. So what product is at PhotoDay? It's the art and science of listening, understanding, validating, and solving the problem of our users, both photographers and studios and end customers that align with the PhotoDay vision and help our business grow. So essentially what we're saying is like, this isn't perfection. There is a formulaic approach that we have to product. That's the science of it. But sometimes a lot of times within product, you're going to go off of a gut reaction. You're going to go off of a gut feeling. I like to tell the story of like Apple, right? Apple is a fantastic product that understands their core values. And when Steve Jobs was heading Apple, he created things that people did not think they needed or even like were able to express they desired. Part of that art for PhotoDay is finding out like what are the needs without even you saying like this is my need. But once we give it to you, like an iPod, like an iPad, no one was doing tablets to that scale. Once we give it to you, you feel, oh my gosh, this is fantastic. This is exactly what I need. All right. So that's what we want to be able to do. We want to be able to listen, garner feedback in a specific formula, be able to synthesize that feedback, be able to validate that feedback that we're getting, be able to understand what's happening in the market, and then being able to condense all of that, comprehend all of that, and then be able to spit out exactly what we need for you in terms of features, in terms of other benefits, in terms of just really giving what our customers are going to need that align to our business goals. So let's go over an overview of like how you build software. So any software that you've ever used, they're going to use a version of this particular process. Some people have really long elongated processes, and there are different like checkpoints in between these. But when you're looking at it, it's really 4 core things that you're doing, right? It's the discovery process, right? And I do like alliteration. So yes, these are all D's. I just want to give a special shout out to the PhotoDay marketing team. I wrote a bunch of words on a piece of paper. They created this amazing deck that you see in front of you. So I just wanted to give them a shout out because they're super amazing. All right. So the discovery process, this is where we are learning. We are trying to figure out what is the most important thing that we need to be doing right now. That is the question that we wake up every morning and we ask ourselves every single day as a product team. What is the most important thing that we could be working on today? And within that, there are various factors that kind of go into what is the most important thing. We're going to talk about those factors in a little bit. But our goal before we start building anything, before we start trying to solve anything, is to discover what is the problem. Everything in product starts with a problem. I know a lot of times that when using a product, the thought process can be, well, all you have to do is X. Well, the truth is that when you are giving a solution by saying all you have to do is X, that X stems from a problem. And there are many ways to be able to solve that problem. With software, just about anything is possible if you have enough time. But the truth is that time is not an unlimited resource. It's very finite in what we need to be able to do. There are customers that we have like you all who are expecting things to happen relatively quickly because things are happening in your business relatively quickly. So before we can get into like jumping in and starting to build, we've got to understand that we have a finite amount of time. Let's truly understand what the problem is. There was a quote attributed to Henry Ford several years ago, at the turn of the century, in 1900, before the Model T Ford came out. Whether it's actually said by him or not, I'm not 100% sure, so don't quote me, but I'm going to give you the sentiment. And the quote said, if I would have asked people what they wanted, they would have said a faster horse, right? Because so at the turn of the century, when people were going from horses to cars, right, the thought process wasn't like, I need a car. No one was coming out and saying, hey, I need a car. The solution would have been, hey, I want my horse to be faster. But in the heart of the Industrial Revolution, we started to think of what more innovative ways to solve problems were. What is the actual problem that we're solving? And then once we understand the actual problem, the next part of it, like, hey, let's define that. We need to be clear on what the definition is of what the solution is, and making sure that everyone is on the same page with the outcomes. If we defined a vehicle that could move faster, and we weren't really clear and explicit on saying we wanted 2 wheels or we wanted 4 wheels, or we wanted it to go X amount of miles per hour, we would have a whole bunch of different options still at that time. So our goal is to discover like what the problem is, really define what the problem is. Then we're going to go into like, what are some of the solutions? Like, what are some areas or what are some opportunities that we can use to be able to solve for this problem? Now that we're really, really clear, we need to be able to show those problems to our customers. And we need to be able to show it to our internal teams to validate and to understand like what's happening in the market, and to validate, hey, look, this is going to work. And then we go into development. So even in my long explanation of like getting to development, you can see it's 4 easy steps, or 4 simple steps, I should say, but they're not always easy. We want to make sure that we're building the right thing without taking too much time to be able to do it, while also validating what's in the market, what our customers need, and what's best for the business. So while this may seem like a very simple process, there's a lot that goes into it, and we put a lot into it. Okay. One of the hardest tasks in software development is prioritizing, right? I'm pretty sure in your businesses, one of the hardest things to do is to prioritize. In life, one of the hardest things to do is prioritize. But the truth is, if everything's a priority, nothing's a priority. Everything can't be due tomorrow. Everything can't be due in a month. Everything can't be due in a year, right? So there is going to be opportunity cost, and that is a trade-off process that the product team manages. We're synthesizing all of the information and thinking about like what's going to be best to happen right now. But the truth is, whatever we decide to build today, that means we're not building something during that time. And that other thing that we aren't building goes to tomorrow, right? When we are waking up and we're deciding, hey, what's the best thing to do right now? We make that decision and we move forward. But then in a month, that next thing that we're trying to build, we should have built it a month ago, right? That's something that we have to live with. We have to understand that everything can't be done at the same time. We have a finite amount of time. We have a finite amount of resources. So we really have to make tough decisions. And within that, we have to gather feedback from a number of places. So we talked about like going through that discovery and definition phase, right? So the factors in this prioritization process: customer requests and feedback. That's you, right? That's you telling us, hey, this is what's going on. And I just, again, giving a pause and a shout out to our Facebook user groups. Since I have been here, that has been a treasure trove of wealth and information for us on the product team to find out, hey, what's going on? What is the sentiment of our users? We ask that you continue to use that to contact us and let us know, hey, what's going on? Because we're not ignoring it. We see it, and we are taking it down, and we're putting it in that discovery phase of this process and the definition phase of this process. Everything can't be done all at once, right? I know that's a great movie in case no one saw it, Everything Everywhere All at Once. But that feeling gives you a little bit of a chaotic nature, and we can't run a business that way. We can't be our best for you all that way. So other factors in prioritization: company goals. We talked about time, resources, and scope. We'll talk about it a little bit more. We'll talk about the market, right? Like, what is the market overall in volume? Like, what are we doing? What are things that are the problems that are existing right now that we can help solve? Enablement. That means how to make it easy for you. We can't just release a feature and be like, hey, go figure it out. How do we communicate with you? How do we talk to you about the feature? How do we work with our marketing team to make sure as much information gets out about the feature? What are the costs? And then what the complexity level is. Like I said, anything is possible with software with time. But then if you don't have that much time, how complex is it to do? We've got to make decisions combining like all of these things together. All right. So our product philosophy on the product team is very, very simple. Everything is basically in threes, right? As I'm talking, go ahead and just a quick check-in to make sure everyone's with me. If you're still with me, you're still understanding, and you're still enjoying this, put your favorite number in the chat, right? My favorite number is the number 3. So when I go over product philosophy, when I talk about like how I approach product, it's typically going to come in threes. The first part of the philosophy that we have here at PhotoDay is the team. Like this is the trio, all right? This is how we focus and how we get everybody together to be able to decide what we're going to build and how we're going to be able to move forward. All right. The trio consists of product management. Our job is to discover, like define, like we talked about, design and get to the part where we get supported in the development of the problem. We have a user experience, which is UX, also called UI, which is user interface, and design team. Now, this is a team who makes everything that you see look absolutely beautiful. We know that photographers are more visual than anybody, probably any other group that we may have worked with in entrepreneurship. So we take explicit time and making sure that the function of what we're making works and that it looks good, because you all are going to notice that. You're going to notice if a button went from blue to green, and you're going to ask the question, you're going to notice, like, why would it go from blue to green? So they're an integral part to our process. And then we have engineering. Nothing happens without engineering. Product can figure out a problem. Design can create the most beautiful thing. It does not become functional without our engineering team and our engineering resources. And together we work to find out how we're going to be able to do and achieve what we need to achieve in products, what problems we're going to solve and how we're going to go about them. So that's the team. All right. That's the trio. All right. Next, we have like the thought, right? Everything in life, I'm a big believer in this book. If you haven't read it, Start With Why, Simon Sinek. This is a fantastic book. The goal is to start with why. Everything starts with why you are doing things, right? What is our purpose? We already talked about how our goal is to be a photographer's best friend. We want to be the all-in-one marketplace. We want to be your support system so that you can do what you do. That's what starts with PhotoDay. Then we move into the how. Like, how are we going to be able to achieve that? What systems in place are we going to put? How is it going to work together? And then we kind of move into the what, right? This is how I look at product consistently. Oh, I just saw a question from Christina. Is there a plan for a one-car option? Biggest complaint from customers, they want jobs to be combined. Christina, I have a great answer for you, and I'm just going to put that as a teaser, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. But every request that comes in goes to kind of this evolution, the why, the how, the what. That is our goal of being able to create, like, as a business, as a company, to know what we're doing. We need to weigh up, like, whatever feature requests may come in, whatever problems that we're trying to solve. Does it align with what this company goal is? Does it align with why PhotoDay was created by John Rayner and Lisa? Like, does it align with the leadership team and what goals we're trying to achieve today? Again, what's the most important thing that PhotoDay can do today? That is how we evaluate, like, what products are going to be developed and in what timeline. And now within that, there are trade-offs, right? So there are 3 like core tenets of any development process, not just software. It's good, fast, and cheap, right? You can get 2 out of the 3, but it's virtually impossible to get 3 out of the 3, right? You can have it good and we can have it cheap. And cheap is like how much PhotoDay decides to put into it, but it's not going to get to you fast. It's going to take a very long time. And a lot of times in entrepreneurship, things are happening fast. Business is happening fast. We need it yesterday is always the term, right? We could be fast and cheap, but it won't be good. And therefore, it's like, oh my gosh, okay, well, you got this to me really, really quickly, and it didn't cost you a lot of money as a company to be able to build that, but it doesn't serve every single need that I have. It could be good and it could be fast, but it's not going to be cheap. So PhotoDay, as a business ourselves, have to weigh that up against, like, okay, well, how much resources are going to be needed to be able to build this particular thing? Are we going to be able to generate the significant return on investment to be able to do that? And that's, not always the case. So our goal is to try to figure out what's the best way to be able to achieve this. And we have to give up things. There are times, and in most cases, We want things to be good and fast, but that doesn't mean it's going to be cheap. And that's not necessarily a sustainable business practice that we can make every single time. So we're going to have to make trade-offs. We're going to have to say, all right, we need this to be good and cheap. And by cheap, I mean like relatively expensive, not like we're tossing out garbage. Anyone who has used PhotoDay know that we, as far as the software is concerned, we are top tier, not only in our software, but in the support that we provide. So shout out to the Bubble team that's out there. Number one in the industry, if I do say so myself. And yes, I am biased. So we've got to decide like to make these trade-offs so that we can understand how we move forward. Okay, so we went over like the team, we went over the thought, we went over like the trade-offs. Let's talk about trial and error. There is like building product and building a business isn't just one way in one direction, right? We have got to understand things and we have got to get things to you, our users, in a relatively short amount of time, right? Everything's in threes, as you've kind of seen on these past slides, right? So we have time, resources, and scope. So when we're looking at things right now, right, we look at number one, time. How much time do we have to build it? We know that this business is seasonal, so we can't just release a really, really big product release in the middle of the season because it's probably not going to make it into your workflow. We can't necessarily release things for our end customers at that point because they may not understand how to do it, and it may cause a significant increase in support that you as a studio or as a photographer need to provide to your customers at that point. So we need to really understand like our time. We need to understand what our resources are. Software development, it's not easy and it's not cheap. To be able to build what we need to build, we're solving hard problems and we enjoy doing it, but we have to take these things into consideration. And then we have scope. So one of these things can be flexible, but in most cases, you're going to have at least two out of these three things are fixed. What I mean by that is your time stamp your time variable is fixed. You only have 3 months to be able to build something because we need to get it at this point within the season, or our users aren't going to be able to use it until next year, right? So we have a fixed amount of time and our resources are fixed. Just because we're able to go out and potentially get new developers and UX people and continue growing the team, like Rainer said, doesn't mean they'll be able to contribute right away. And it could take some time for them to be able to get to the point where they can contribute. So when we start development, typically at that moment that we start the development, our resources are fixed. We can't really change that. So the thing that we can control in most cases is going to be the scope. And scope is basically what is all included within this particular feature. And when we talk about doing that, we always want everything. We have some great advocates for the industry on this team, and they're always telling me, Wayne, it's got to include this. Wayne, it's got to include this. Wayne, it's got to include this. And they're right. Like the ultimate part of the feature, it would include everything. But because two of these things are going to be fixed in most cases, we need to understand that our flexibility is going to be in scope. And the truth is, like, if you look at this model right here, and it may be a little small for you to see at the very end of this top line right here, but it says basically, this is really, really great. So this person building a boat, it's really, really great, but maybe our customers wanted it faster. The goal is to be able to solve the problem. And in this particular case, this incremental journey and this iterative journey that we'd like to do in product, the problem is going from point A and crossing the river to point B. There are various different ways in which we can do that. We can really start and build, get the wood, be able to lay the wood out flat, be able to make this big model and then create this big ship. But the truth is, on the bottom is really what we want to be able to do. Can we solve the problem? Can we get from point A to point B? Yes or no? Can we get, and then once we get it, we'll get feedback from you all saying, hey, point A to point B is okay, but I actually wanted to get there a little bit faster. Great. Now we give you a sale on this particular point A to point B method of travel. Now it's like, I'd actually like to be a little bit more comfortable. I wish it didn't have to stand while I'm going from point A to point B. Great. Let's go ahead and build in a seating component. And now we want to talk about getting a little bit faster and getting a little bit more iterative. And you see, we end up with a completely different opportunity on the bottom than we did on the top. And the example in which we did on the top, we built everything all up front, and we did not, what we call internally, shipping it fast, which is getting it to the hands of our customer base fast. And we learn more by being able to do that. Now, it is not our intention to ship anything or to deliver anything that's incomplete, right? We want you to have an end-to-end solution. But our goal is also to be able to get something in your hands, to be able to use it and gain more feedback as we go. All right. Cool. All right. So now that you all understand product and how we do product, the product philosophy and the product development process, why don't we talk about some cool products, right? Let's get into like what has happened in 2024. All right. First up, organization pages. Okay. Now, if you had an opportunity to use org pages, or you plan to use org pages, go ahead and tell me in the chat, like, yes, I plan to use it. No, I don't plan on using it. Whatever you feel like doing it. Yes, no, why, and whatever you put it, just put something down in there. Organization pages was a really a labor of love that took a while to get developed. So we thank you for your patience in being able to get there. So this is a single link for all of your organization's galleries. You have streamlined communication for your organizations where you can just give them one single link and they can find all the galleries. They can share that out to their parents to be able to find the galleries associated with that organization. Super exciting. It is a really easy to use and intuitive feature. You can set the URL for the organization, and it's going to be a game changer for most people. And again, this is about saving you all time and trying to find the links to every single job and trying to distribute the links to every single one. If you have one single organization, this is going to be super helpful for you. It's easy to access for parents. The links are customizable, like I mentioned. And again, you have direct gallery access. You can do private galleries on here, group and public. It supports everything now. When we initially launched it, you can only do group and public. But as of recent, you can do private galleries on the organization page as well. So let's talk a little bit about that. Let's talk about how you can use it with private pages. So Gallery Lookup is an amazing tool that we've used to allow customers to find their subject photos within a private gallery with no access codes. We know that traditionally, being able to use an access code and share that access code for each subject has been the way the only way to be able to find that particular subject. But with Gallery Lookup, you have the ability to configure this form that you see right here that parents will be able to come to and enter the information that you have set that's required to access that gallery. They'll be able to submit and get direct access to that gallery. They still will have a access code. So if they want to write into you for whatever reason and they're having trouble, they'll still have access. But again, just want to reduce the amount of administration and coordination, copying the links, sending everything out that you have in your workflow, allowing customers to go straight to your org page, click on the particular gallery, search their subject, and be able to return that subject's gallery, making it really easy. Okay. All right. Let's keep it moving. Email account creation. So customers now have the option to create galleries with their email address or their phone number. Before, it was mostly phone number. We decided to have this part of the process because people who are trying to buy galleries don't always want to share their phone numbers. And there are people internationally who want to buy photos here that didn't have a US-based phone number. So again, just a way to be able to increase your sales without you all doing anything, giving people access and being diverse in our way that you can go ahead and create an account at PhotoDay. Basic race touching, right? So this is a service right now being offered to our customers, your end customers, a post-processing server that's built right here in-house. It removes blemishes and acne, leave a very natural look. We get a lot of use out of this particular feature, and I know a lot of people were asking about this. When we have to talk about like what's coming next, we'll start talking about that in a little bit. But right now, available right now in our platform is basic retouching. All right, so here's what everybody came for, right? You really wanted to know, like, okay, thank you, PhotoDay, for delivering me all these amazing features and helping my business, but what have you done for me lately? As I mentioned, being here and solving the highest pain points is like one of my top priorities. One of the things that I focus on and I wake up when we talk about like what can PhotoDay do today, this is what we're talking about. How can we make life easier for our customers moving into the fall, spring, into next fall, so the summer and everything else. So first up, yearbook selection. Now this is a feature that has been asked for our users who either have not used us, who are in the underclass market, or sorry, the senior market, excuse me, who want to be able to give an opportunity for parents to be able to select the photo that's going to go in their yearbook, and to be able to export that photo when it's time to export. It's going to be a really, really, really cool feature. The way that our team has set it up, you're going to be able to have multiple images that are to configure for yearbook selection, so they can choose up to 2 photos for yearbook selection. Again, it makes the export process really simple. You'll be able to export whatever type of photos that you want. You'll be able to name the type of poses to make it easier for the customers to be able to select. This is going to be a really, really cool one. Our team is working really, really hard on it, and it's going to be available very, very soon. So shout out to the product team, the customer service team, all of our internal teams for helping us get to this point with yearbook selection. It's going to be a big one, and I'm looking forward to everyone who's going to start using it moving into the fall. Okay, Stripe Express. So we're super excited about this one as well. There's going to be a lot of work that kind of goes into doing this. It's not going to be an immediate thing, but the Stripe accounts, that the type of Stripe account we need to migrate to Stripe Express to provide more options and more flexibility for business needs. This is coming soon. You'll have until the end of 2024 to be able to make the selection. Our team is going to work with groups of users to be able to start getting everyone on a Stripe account. So it's easy transition. It won't be difficult at all, but it's going to give us more flexibility as a company to be able to provide more payment options. Feature flagging. So this is a product thing, and I'm including this as a slide of like what we're doing. The feature flagging process is going to allow us to segment a lot more. There are features that are available in our platform that aren't necessarily the use for you if you're doing a sports league, or if you're doing volume at a school. Like, there's a specific set of features that is going to be specific to the job that you're doing. So we're going to really start to set it up and make sure that we are catering our workflows to what works best for you and what you are doing. The goal of this is the first thing is to de-risk some of our releases so that we understand when we release something, what are the challenges that people are experiencing right away? Like I mentioned a few slides earlier, the goal is to be able to get something in your hands and to be able to iterate quickly based off of that feedback. We want to have an end-to-end solution, but within that end-to-end solution, there are going to be things that we inevitably miss. I don't care if you're working on something for 5 or 10 years or 5 or 10 minutes. Once you get that into the hands of a customer, there's going to be something that you wish was more, like you're going to wish it had a little bit more to it. So this feature will allow us to do that. It'll allow us to understand the needs better, and allow us to start beta testing or alpha and beta testing certain features that are coming out, so that when we release it to the remaining user base, it's a feature that everyone wants and that we can feel like is super validated in the market. All right, email campaigns. So we talked about having email-only accounts. Well, this is going to give you the opportunity to have a one-to-one relationship between email, SMS campaigns and email campaigns. It's going to, according to the metrics that we're using, double the opportunity for you to be able to get in touch with your customers, and therefore, as a result, be able to generate more sales and more income for your businesses. Our goal is to be able to work on this in the fall of 2024. And I didn't mention this earlier, so I'm going to backtrack a little bit. Any timelines that you see on here is our intention. Our intention 100% is to give you these features in this particular timeline. If you don't see a timeline, it's that we don't have enough information yet on how much is going to be done. If you remember back to the slide of good, fast, and cheap, it is something that we know has been requested, or we know is going to be beneficial to you as a business, but the timelines are unclear. So in the event that you ever see a timeline and you hear me say, hopefully you'll hear from me a lot more, hey, this is when we intend to release this. If it's not released by that time, my job is to come back to you as an organization and as a support base to say, hey, we're not going to do this by this time. Here's why, and here's where it's going to do it. When we do these type of presentations, we like to see these as a proverbial contract between you as our users and us as an organization. And we're committing to you these various things. Now, everything doesn't always happen in a perfect scenario. And oftentimes when you're dealing with software, things go wrong. You tried to build it this way, it didn't work, or you ran into an issue with your code base. But our commitment is going to be transparency and communication. So we'll let you know, hey, this is how we're going to handle it. And the farther out these dates get, the less likely the dates are going to be the same. We're going to get clarity as we get closer towards dates, but we're going to start to lay some of the groundwork up front. So you'll see fall 2024 for here. You saw summer 2024 for the yearbook selection, and we'll get a release date in the hands of everyone as we get closer to these dates. Okay, so here are three that we're going to chat about, and I'm leaving the big one for last. Okay, updated user permissions. We know that some of our larger studios have the request to be able to have permissions for people who are working within an organization who do not need to see financial data. They need to be able to support orders. They need to be able to refund orders as necessary and be able to do essentially a customer service role. But at the same time, they do not want that user to be able to have full access to the full financials of the studio. So we are working on being able to provide this user permission and to be able to deliver this. Again, you do not see a date associated with this one, but our goal is to be able to work on this very, very soon. We're also going to be working on our enhanced retouching. As you know, we did basic retouching. We want to be able to provide the studios with the ability to do retouching right inside of the studio, inside of PhotoDay, still giving the customers the opportunity as well, but to really like take it a step up in terms of the quality of the photos. Okay. And then I know this was asked earlier. I know Tom mentioned it. I believe Christina mentioned it earlier as well. Combined checkout. So as we again mentioned earlier, there's going to be a lot, like certain features. It's good, fast, cheap, right? And certain features require more work than others. This is one of the ones that we know has been requested. We have heard consistently about like how difficult it is for your parents who are trying to buy photos to be able to have one checkout where they can see everything and not pay for multiple shippings. This is going to be one that we are really committed to being able to tackle. You have my word on that. This is something that we are not ignoring at all. But this is going to be a big one. And there's probably going to be a phased approach. If you look back at the example that we had with the boat, we're going to give you something to start that solves the problem, right? And we're going to go closer, and we're going to make sure that we get closer at like defining what the problem actually is. We know that a lot of people have said, hey, our parents want to check out all together in one job. Fantastic. Some people have said, hey, I actually want to have one shipping cost from that one job. Great. There's another set of feedback that says, hey, I want to just do free shipping combined in the cart and just have free shipping. So there's a lot of problems that are kind of coming out from like being able to hear like what combined checkout is. And that it's a great banner. It's a great overarching term, but we need to dig in, right? We need to really understand what the core of the problem is, and also the core part of the problem within our platform that's preventing this from happening right now. A lot of you know that combined checkout or that checkout is tied to your price sheets. And there's specific strategies that we give you on how to use your price sheets for different offer and things like that. So we've got to take that into account as well. So we're going to have a phased approach. And a part of that phased approach is looking at price sheets as well. So it wouldn't just be, okay, great, here's combined checkout and the price sheets don't get adjusted, or our offers don't potentially get adjusted, or even the experience in the cart, being able to make it smoother, faster, stronger isn't in the cart. Like our goal is to really make this combined checkout feature exactly how you want it, how you intend it. But it's tied to a lot of things, and it will be a multi-phased approach. We've started the discovery process. We've started the definition process, and we're pretty much there. We're going to start to head into design and development. It won't be a quick process with this one. This isn't going to be one of those that's good and fast, right? This is going to be one that we spend some time on, so we make sure that we get it right. We make sure that when it gets into your hands, it's exactly what you've been asking for, and you are happy, and ultimately your customers are happy, and it leads to more sales for you and your business. Okay. So again, you heard it here first. Yes, combined checkout is coming soon. We are going to, as soon as I can put a timeline on it, I will come back, whether it's in a webinar or whether it's another forum. We're going to let you know, hey, this is our intended date for it. And as we get closer to that, we will put an exact date on it. But this isn't something that we are saying, hey, is going to be here next year. Our goal, we are actively working on this right now. And as soon as we have a better indication on when this is going to be done and released, we will come back to you and let you know. Okay. I'm going to pause for about 15 seconds. Let's talk about, anybody have any questions on combined checkout and any particular, like our approach to how we're going to be building it. Christina, I see your question about bulk shipping with all labs. That's something that we have to take into consideration when we're doing price sheet and logistics and like what works best for our company. We do not have an answer for that right now, but if we get closer and we get an answer, I'll be sure to get you one. Okay, if there are no questions, how about everyone just drop an emoji and show me how excited you are about the features that we built in 2024 and the ones that are coming out. Well, what we're going to be building. I won't commit to 2024 yet, but what we're going to be building in the future. Drop an emoji and let me know your excitement level. There's that 10-second delay. There we go. There it is. Boom. Super excited. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Thank you all for your feedback. We appreciate you so much because without you, we could not do this. All right. Okie dokie. Thank you so much for being here today. Before everyone takes off, I would love in the chat if you tell me on a scale of 1 to 5 how good you think this presentation was. You can evaluate me as well. How good you think I did. If this is something that like you want to be able to see more, I would love to hear from that. But just give us feedback because that's how we grow, right? So if I didn't do a 5, which maybe I didn't, maybe I did. Give me 5, but we would love to hear your earnest and honest feedback. This replay will be sent out tomorrow. So if you're watching this and you weren't live, you missed out because it was a really, really great live, right? Everybody, it was amazing, right? So let's, if you didn't have the opportunity to watch it live and you're watching it, please take time to review and go through everything. Give us your feedback. Take a picture of that screenshot so that you can be considered to be a part of the product focus group. And if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to let us know. We've got the best in the business in the bubble. Maybe we should call them best in the business bubble. No, that doesn't really roll off the tongue. Our marketing team's a lot better than I am. Okay. Thank you all so much for this time today. Have a fantastic rest Tuesday and rest of your week. And we'll look forward to seeing everybody again soon. Take care. Bye-bye.